Arc-tempered REY DAU is here, and they're okay. We need to keep in mind that this is an Arc-tempered that is only high rank. If you're someone who's just got off of Iceborne, Arc-tempered master rank is definitely a different kind of beast. So that's the excuse for why Arc-tempered REY DAU might just seem okay. Like most Arc-tempereds, REY DAU gets a damage boost, health boost, and a new move or two to throw in. And REY DAU will definitely let you know what these new moves are because they're a big fan of using it throughout the entire fight. The most notable one is a downward rail cannon with a pretty big hitbox, usually followed by one of their aerial attacks. This fight is extremely fast-paced and shares a similar style to old school Monster Hunter where things become more turn-based. You'll wait for REY DAU to do their attack, and then you'll do your attack, and the back and forth dance continues. So let's dive right in on the best ways to go against Arc-tempered REY DAU. For starters, let's talk about the prep. I fought Rey with a few different weapons, and from what I gathered, putting away your weapon to dodge their onslaught of attacks seems to be the most ideal way of playing it safe. While playing heavy bowgun, it felt like blocking seemed more trouble than it was worth, especially with the after effects of Rey's attacks. And sheathing and unsheathing a heavy bowgun felt just really bad.
Oh my god!
Keeping your weapon out and dodging will work, but you really have to get a good grasp of which way Rey's attacks will come at you. I had an easier time with weapons with quick sheath. REY DAU spends a lot of time in the air, and if you're not using a weapon that can take advantage of it, the best option is to put away your weapon and just prepare for an opening. But the simplest way to defeat REY DAU is just getting your Thunder Res up to 20. 20 allows you to not have to worry about Thunder Blight at all. If you're not aware, Thunder Blight makes it so you can get stunned easier. It can also be removed by consuming a Null Berry if you're not interested in breaking your meta set. Most of the damage I saw people taking from Rey was either from their Thunder attacks or the after effects of most of their moves. Both of these attacks will be reduced a lot with more Thunder Res. Flashing REY DAU is a great way to get in lots of damage or stopping attacks in case someone's in a bad spot. You're only allowed 3 aerial knockdowns per fight, so make sure they count. Because after 3 aerial knocks, Rey will start shaking off the flashes and continue flying. So on the prep side, Thunder Res up to 20. More is good, but 20 is probably baseline. Armor and power buffs, flash pods, a weapon that can guard, or a weapon with high movement will definitely make this fight easier. Paralyzed weapons are great for a group hunt, or go for a more ice setup to deal more damage. Before I talk about all of the combat, I must warn people that fighting REY DAU near walls makes the fight a bit more dangerous. Specifically when REY DAU flies backwards to grind their wing against the ground. If there's no space to fly backwards, the animation just speeds up and comes at you quicker than normally. This happened a few times, so I feel like I should just mention it. For the actual combat of Arc-tempered REY DAU. If you're familiar with regular REY DAU, then you're just gonna have an easier time. Not much changes with the Arc-tempered version. We get longer combos and 2 new moves, but other than that, we're dealing with the same monster. If you've already done a ton of Zoshia, after effects on attacks should be second nature at this point. But if it isn't, you really need to focus your brain on if an attack happens, a second will follow. If Rey slams with their left wing, the safer route is to attack their legs or anywhere away from that left wing. You could wait for the explosions to go off, but the fast-paced combat of this fight makes it feel like every second counts. Like explained earlier in the prep section, when REY DAU flies, if you use a melee weapon, the best course of action is to put away your weapon. You want to be able to move quick, which will make it easier to dodge Rey's attacks, and if Rey isn't focusing on you, you'll want to keep close to take advantage of when they're going to land or a flash knockdown. Unless you play something with an offset. Using offsets to knock REY DAU out of the air is a great way to put a stop to the aerial menace. And while speaking of aerial, If you're someone who is having a hard time getting damage on REY DAU, take use of your secret and go for at least one mount. It's a guaranteed knockdown and it helps you get your footing back in the fight. The classic counters of REY DAU are still there. After any big lightning attack, the head will become available for a focus strike. This usually won't knock REY down, but it's a decent stagger. Much like red wounds. Popping a regular wound for Arc-Tempered REY DAU will get you a nice stagger, but the tempered wounds will get you the knockdown. Prep for big combos when going to break these wounds. And while we're talking about wounds, I must point out that since REY is Arc-Tempered, they will have scars on their legs. Don't let these scars bait you into thinking there's a potential wound that's about to open. These scars are cosmetic. Make sure you're always taking advantage of openings. You can rely on REY DAU's big overhead smash for lots of free damage. The wing gets stuck, locking REY in place. Breaking apart the crystals on REY DAU's wings will also lead to a much easier fight. I can't remember if it completely knocks them out of enrage or what, but it'll definitely slow REY down. For defensive and safe gameplay, you'll want to stick more to REY's feet, skewed more towards their tail. REY's new railgun has a pretty big hitbox, which will still hit you if you're planted on the front side of the feet. Being slightly skewed towards the tail area will give you plenty of space to dodge past the railgun. And REY's back attacks are nothing scary. The tail will either slam straight down or do a 180. Staying where the tail meets the rest of the body makes it extremely easy to dodge these attacks without even having to move. Also, REY can be captured, so if you're 2 cards down and worried, go for a pitfall trap since it's the only one that works on REY DAU. Of course, you could also use the pitfall for more free damage as well. Overall, it's tough to say much about Arc-Tempered REY DAU. It's like, if you fought the tempered version, then you'll understand how this fight will play out. I honestly had an easier time fighting REY DAU with a greatsword than I did with my support sword and shield build. While it was safer to just block and guard everything, greatsword opened up more opportunities with the ability to offset. The offsets helped break up the longer combos and provided more room for everyone else, while the support builds made it so no one really dies unless it's a complete one-shot. This fight, like Mizu and Zoshia, it feels like it's a step in the right direction. I'm slightly bummed that this is the Arc-Tempered version. I would have loved for this to just be how the regular tempered version played out, because if it was, it would have felt nicer for the actual endgame grind of things. Before any updates, the main endgame loop felt like Arkfeld or Gormagala were the only places to find a challenge, and the option of having a third in that mix would have probably saved me from hunting so many Arkfelds, which would have helped my sanity a bit. It's an okay fight. It adds a bit of spice to the game. I really like that most of the hunts are around 10 minutes with randoms. It feels exactly like how most fights should play out. I think a solid 10 to 15 minutes for a group hunt is like the sweet spot, where they're long enough to be fun, but not too long that it seems like you're stuck in a never-ending battle. So, what are your thoughts on Arc-Tempered REY DAU? Was it worth the wait? Sad about no weapons? Lackey isn't until summer, so until then, I hope some more interesting events pop up. With that said, thanks for watching. I hope this information helped out. Thanks to the Patreon. I'll see you later.